as a Black person, what are the challenges, those top challenges that you have found in this entrepreneurial world?
Yes. I'm the last person that gets listened to. I think that's one challenge. And so with that, I don't have the visibility, or it takes me longer to get the visibility from whatever venture it is that I'm doing.
Hello and welcome to the Money Mindset Show, the place where we help female entrepreneurs to transform their mind so that they can achieve financial success in the least amount of time. Here, we talk about subconscious mind, we talk about money mindset shifts, money mindset blocks, a strategy so that you can bypass your own money mindset and increase your income, better your relationship with money, and grow your business. Okay, but before I let you into today's episode, come here. Be honest with me. How many times have you found yourself doing the extra thing, going the extra mile because you really, really want this goal, but the financial results are nowhere to be seen? You know you want your financial independence, but yet you find yourself spending more time and effort and money into crafting the perfect social media strategy, thinking what caption should I write, what picture should I post, when should I post it, instead of looking at the things that really matter with money. The exact same loop that I have seen hundreds of my clients throughout the years getting stuck. And the reason is one and one only. The type of habits that are driving your life, these habits are the leader of your show, of your business. And we have to stop them. The way that you do that is by adapting new ones. I have put together for you the top 5 financial habits for exponential growth with your business for you to download right now. Go to themoneymindset.com/5. That is the Money Mindset Hub, HUB.com/5, and download this top 5 financial habits for exponential growth, specifically for founders. Again, that is the Money Mindset Hub, HUB.com/5. Welcome, Simone, to the podcast. It's our pleasure to have you here to showcase who you are. So please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. It is such a privilege and honor to be here. So I am the owner of For the Love of Life. I am a lifestyle designer. And so I help women wake up every day with a sense of more joy. I help them to organize their life and their business in order to make progress toward their goals. So that's my number one mission through my business and as a lifestyle designer.
I love it. And why do you started this whole thing? Like how somebody wakes up and tell me, you know what, today I am going to make helping others to strategize their life for a much more joyful future. Like, why is that your mission? Why do you actually started this whole thing?
Yes, I'm like, I always try to condense it into like a shorter format. Cause sometimes when you have such a big mission, it's like years and years of things that have happened. Yeah. So I've been in business for about 15 years in some way, shape or form, not necessarily doing this. But my first business that is still running is I own a hair salon. When you go to the hair salon, you get really close to your stylist and they give you advice and it kind of comes like therapy, right? And so that's kind of where it started. I would be giving women this advice. They would be taking it and they'd be like, girl, that really worked out. And I'm like, I'm so happy to hear it. Well, through the years, I became a virtual assistant or my business owner, but I worked really closely with these wonderful CEOs. But I just wasn't like doing their admin task. I was like running their life and I was running their entire business, learning how I could help them not be so overwhelmed and not be so stressed out and bogged down and telling them, hey, do this way. Nope, you actually need to do that this way. And it was more than just fixing their calendar. It was really telling them how to be happier in life. Right. I'm a productivity coach. And then I realized, the productivity was just leaning toward business. but I needed to incorporate the lifestyle portion of it to make everything harmonize together. And
Cool.
so then I became a lifestyle designer, and that's kind of how all that worked out together.
So inside of the lifestyle, then you also talk about productivity. It's just like everything like blends together. And I actually like the idea of like the hair salon being your therapy, because that's where the saying is coming from, right? You go to the hair salon for more than doing your hair and your nails and everything. You go to decompress of life and then just chat with somebody else. It's like, hey girl, this is happening. Like sometimes just the person that takes in everything. And what a good insight for you and for your business to start it that way. I love that. And you said that you have been in business for 15 years in some shape or form, right?
Yes.
As a Black person, what are the challenges, those top challenges that you have found in this entrepreneurial world?
Yes. I'm the last person that gets listened to. I think one challenge. And so with that, I don't have the visibility, or it takes me longer to get the visibility from whatever venture it is that I'm doing. And I'm not put out in the front, the center, although I can have the same thought process, methodology. I can have the years of proof. I can have all these things. I'm just not going to be the first person that's listened to. And although I've came to terms with that, I realized that I just need to put forth the extra work to be louder, or to really find the right connections in order for people who are listened to make those connections, because I'm just naturally not going to be who's listened to. Like there are so many other people who do slightly similar things to what I do that don't look like me. And I look at what they're doing and I'm like, actually studies show I still have the disadvantage.
Yeah, I get it. It's that invisible, not really invisible thing that we have to work through. And how is that shape your path? Because you said that you have come to terms to it, right? But how in like in your daily life, how that shows up in your path?
Yeah, I think it can be discouraging sometimes. Like there's been many times when I've been on a path and just feel like I want to quit and I want to give up, because it can feel very rocky, the road trying to push towards something. You have those moments when you're not sure if it's working. You're not sure if you're going to, as much as business owners, we're in business because, our mission that drives us forward. We also have families that we need to provide for. And so sometimes when you're the last person to be listened to, also that means that the coins aren't coming through like you need them to.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes you want to be like, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I need to do something else. And so constantly battling against that feeling, trying to find inventive ways to stay motivated and stay encouraged, and being in those pockets of people and spaces that make me feel built up is a constant battle of having to do that and learning what that looks like for me personally.
I love that, because I can only imagine how powerful your coaching sessions are coming from this point of view, coming from, listen, I know we are battling with bias. I know that we have to make the extra thing, and being able to design those lives from that perspective to still be joyful. Because let's get honest, you have been in business for 15 years. That means that this path is the path that you're walking. Like you're not doing anything else, no 9 to 5, no corporate, or not as like after you have been for so long in businesses, it's so difficult to go back to the other one, right? But some people can really get frustrated. What do you think has been those frustrations that you can point at and say, this frustration really almost take me out of my business, like really almost want me to go and find a job or something like that?
Yeah. Something else that I do as I do this work is, although I don't have any other corporate positions, because I really just can't, I do fractional COO work. So I'm a fractional chief operating officer, which is great because I get to work, in businesses and help the CEO directly. It's still part of what I do. I help design their lives by working inside the business.
Exactly.
So it's still part of it. But recently I was working with a CEO, and the way that she ran her business constantly tore down my confidence. Like I just felt like I can do nothing at all right in 2 years. And so that made me feel like I wanted to quit and give up. Like I almost did. Maybe I just don't need to be in business. Maybe I'm not good at anything. Like I need to find a job. It took me And I'm still recovering because this wasn't long ago. This wasn't like a year ago. This was maybe like 4 months ago. So it took me a long time to recover, to realize, all right, again, being around people who build you up instead of being around people that tear you down. And I feel like sometimes as Black women, we stay in spaces longer than we should. And then we don't understand the repercussions that come from it. We don't understand how that weighs on us because we're told that we need to be tough, that we need to stick it out. And sometimes we do, because sometimes we need a check. We have to provide for our family.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't understand that we also have to be responsible for carving our own path. And so I didn't take that responsibility seriously. And it's not that person's fault. I don't blame them. But at the same time, I should have left sooner. And because I didn't, I allowed that situation to erode my confidence. And so that was a really tough hurdle that left me feeling really discouraged for some time. I shed some really large tears over a period of that 2+ years.
I have so much to say about this, but I am consciously deciding to walk away from that because I just can't. When people don't understand that your words and your actions impact deeply the other person that you're working with. It's just whether you want it or not, you are making or breaking another human being. The good thing about being a business owner, having your own thing, is that you have to become super aware of that. As a business owner, myself in the financial education sector, working with female entrepreneurship and BIPOC female entrepreneurship, I am 300% aware that my words are making an impact. And it is my intention with everything that I do. How can I make this person see a different perspective? How can I support this person to push her towards what she wants or what he wants at some point, right? And I can't stand the people that breaks confidence and breaks people just in just a conversation, because it's just passing beliefs, like her beliefs to you, right? So it's really a mirror. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say from that.
And listen, it was a lot because I was there for so long. I saw quite a few people come and go, and I saw them come with confidence in the door and leave out with confidence being torn down, leaving out the door. And they didn't make it the whole 2 years that I made it. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I thought it was just, maybe it's them. And then I realized, no.
Wow. Let's talk about that, because that is something that I have seen for all of the work that I do, is that yes, people stay in places because they need their paycheck. You started a business because you have this passion, but also because you need to provide, right? But what makes, or what have you seen that makes other people to think I can change an environment where I have seen so many people going through and living the way that I don't want to live?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of times, like, I was in a C-suite position. So I'm thinking, I'm partly responsible for the culture that's here. So when you're in that position and you feel partly responsible for the culture that's curated on the team, you feel as though, well, what part did I play in this? How can I make things better? But you're not actually in charge of the things that are going on. You don't actually help the vision for the company. You just support it. And so when I realized, well, there's nothing that I can do, and I am trying to take on this person's expectations and everything. And I'm part of the problem really for these people, because whatever the top person says to me, I have to spread it. And so then the people who left, now they're looking at me like, you're the problem. And I'm like, well, I'm just doing what I'm told.
Right.
Made it worse. So then I feel bad for the people who are under me while also being pushed. It becomes a lot. And so then at the point you realize that, hey, you actually don't have the power that you thought that you had. And it's okay. And oftentimes, as Black women, we think that we have this ability to do something that we don't at the moment, or it's going to take more hands. We need more buy-in for more people. We have the power, but if it's just us standing alone, we need to actually rally up the troops. And if we haven't intentionally done that and had those honest conversations with other people that can come in around us and support us, we actually won't be able to do that. And I didn't have that type of support where I was, but we need to have that type of support. I'm not saying we want to be able to overthrow the government or anything like that. Nothing crazy like that, but just in our own little bubbles, in our own smaller way. If we don't have that type of support, then we're not going to be able to make changes in our own personal bubbles like we might want to.
On this Black Business Owned Month, we are highlighting the story of amazing Black female entrepreneurs, business owners that are putting their services, their product, their innovations out there because Black women and people of color need more platforms to share the amazing creations that we all are doing. That's why throughout this month, you're going to hear the stories that Black female entrepreneurs building things that I couldn't even imagine it was possible. And here's how you can support all of these female entrepreneurs. Make sure that for each episode that you listen to, you share with somebody else. You share with that friend, that colleague, that person that you think it may be at interest of. And this is the most important part. We really appreciate that you go and rate and review this podcast. The more reviews and the more rating that we have, the bigger impact we can make. More people is going to know about this podcast. More people is going to hear about this female founder. I love that. What do you think, Simone, is one or two things that as a business owner with all of this experience from corporate, from your business, what do you think is something that you would like to see on this space for brown and Black people with businesses? More of what? More of, let's start with abroad. And then I want to hear also more of what type of technology or more of what type of education.
Yeah, I would like to see more coming together, like more actual community. And when I say actual community, I mean deep community, learning about each other, what makes each other like tick in a good way, like what keeps each other motivated, like those type of things. So we can truly support. And I want to see us actually circulate our money and not to be in a competitive way. Like that's what I really want to see. And it's hard to come by those type of things. There's so much competition, especially geographically, like I live close to, I'm in the States. I live close to DC. There's a lot of competition here, right?
Yeah.
If you can imagine. And so I would like to see a lot less of that and a lot of actual community support, even if you're in the same or similar industries.
Yeah.
I want to see more financial education. I want to see it from a younger age for Black and brown people. Younger age, like my kid's age, the age of 6. I want to see that, and I want it to be in schools. I want it to be institutionalized, how to actually use money. They teach everything else in schools. They teach all the other type of math. I want to see real world.
Yep. Exactly. I love that. School systems, they gotta change. They gotta change to become, to allow entrepreneurship to be something more than it is. But it gotta change. And I'm saying this as the owner of a financial education platform because of the gap that is in the system, right? But the way that we go about financial education in here, in this platform, is coming from that understanding that for a system to change, it would take much longer than we want to see those generations to run, right? So we acknowledge that, but the change has to come from that different perspective. And you put it beautifully. If we are teaching kids how to do math, well, just go the step ahead and at least teach them the concepts of what that math is going to do in real life as well.
Right.
If it's going to do something. I love that. And now in terms of technology, as a business owner, I think, and you can have another opinion, but in my experience, technology has been a game changer for me. When I started as a solopreneur, if I didn't have the tools that I have, my apps for budgeting, my things for marketing, this where we are recording, it will be so much difficult for me. And I understand that technology is a changer in our community because it allows us to get that confidence or to get that thing out of the table, right? Like, you know what I mean? When you come and people is not seeing you, and then you are the person that knows how to manage this type of tool, then the conversation switch magically, right? So it's just like, what type of tools have been your go-to in these 15 years of entrepreneurship? And what type of tools you still want to see out there that supports our community?
Yes. Or maybe my tools might be a little basic. For the past, probably all of my tenure as an entrepreneur, I've used my CRM system, which is Depsado, that has never failed me. I've literally been using it the whole time. And then I cannot live without a project management tool. I use ClickUp. I use it so much. My son is homeschooled, so we also put his work in it. He uses it too.
Wow.
Well, he uses it as well. And things like Canva has been a game changer for me and my son. My son uses Canva he's very techie himself.
Yeah.
So he gave me a couple things on there to use. I think as far as being able to stand out, I know we talked about standing out as Black and brown people before. I think a lot of these editing tools right now to edit videos and things like that, I'm learning how to use them a lot better, and they help me and others like me stand out. And that I want to hone in on and learn how to use those even better so I can create things that are more visually appealing and, you know, kind of stop the scroll in my marketing a little more. That I'm really interested in doing.
Oh my gosh. Listen, this is the type of business that we are creating. We are being moms. We are like you are. We know you are homeschooling. Like you are running a business. You are being there. Like the representation of being everything and everywhere is here. And this is something that I want to highlight for everybody listening to this podcast. Yes, we start businesses because we have a different vision. We want to see something different. And of course, you have that financial motivation or that financial necessity, right? That to make your business work as a business. But we also are everything else. We are, if you have kids, you are a mom. You are, if you have a husband, you are a wife. If you have parents, you're like, hey, I'm talking here to the Latinas that still live with their parents because parents become our responsibility as well as a Black and brown. I don't know for many Caucasian families where they have to count parents as their whole thing. We have to sometimes. Right? So we are being daughter, wife, mom, business owner. We excel to do all of those as well at the same time. It's incredible to me. And when you mention homeschooling, I'm like, this is another level of patience and a love for teaching.
Yeah, perhaps. I think the school system really, he was in school. He speaks Spanish. So he's a Spanish immersion. Both of my kids are. I want them to have dual languages. I want them to have skills that I don't have.
Yeah.
The school system they're not socially wasn't thriving. So I was like, well, the great thing about being an entrepreneur and being in business is being able to say, I don't work a 9 to 5. My child needs support. How can I do it? Was homeschooling ever on my radar? Absolutely not. But was my life already set up in a way where I can make a pivot? Absolutely. And so that's the greatest thing about being in business for yourself and having children. You can make a pivot. A kid is sick. Great. You can pick them up. Sorry, I'm canceling the call. It's fine. Yeah. There's a event, a recital, whatever. I'm going. Something happens, an emergency. You can just pick up and leave. That is one of the big blessings about being a business owner and being a parent or taking care of older parents. If there's an emergency, you can just go.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. And it's great for this next question. So financially speaking, what do you think has been the 3 challenges that you have overcome or not have overcome? And what solutions you would like to see for those challenges? Top 3 or 2.
So the biggest challenge that I'm working through right now is understanding taxes. Like it's one of those things that I was never really taught how to work through and understanding what
nobody. Nobody.
I think
I know nobody has been told how to go about taxes.
I appreciate that. That's real. So that's like the number one challenge and the number one thing I'm still struggling with. So I'm
Yeah.
consulting a couple of like tax professionals right now to get things situated better. Like I'm not behind like filing or anything, but I'm like, no, this gotta be different. So
Yeah.
that is like my current biggest challenge. I'm really happy that I have income flow, like I have cash flow, but always trying to understand like, all right, when do I change it to like, I'm an LLC, when do I change it to an S corp? How does that help with the taxes? Like that whole thing, that's a challenge, understanding how to wrap my brain around that. So that's another thing that I'm working out. And then how many bank accounts do I actually need to have? Like I have a business bank account, obviously, but should I go dig a little further, do a little deeper? I don't believe in the profit first method necessarily, but I think I need a little more division. So that's like on a smaller scale of things I'm trying to figure out right now. I'm happy I figured out the cash flow though. So that's a positive thing.
Yes. And what do you think that we can all benefit from knowing from your business? You design lives. That is huge in itself. And no wonder why you're here. You're designing your life. You're designing the life of your kids as well. You're taking that step. Let me tell you that there is not many people that I have interviewed or that I have talked really, that says, I have the permission to do this or that. Like it's not even a question on my mind. That shows to the work that you do designing life. So what can you tell to all brown and black community that is listening that can be a drop of wisdom that you have learned in all of these years?
I would say that I need you to take a step back and understand your energy. And when I say energy, I don't mean like in a woo sense, you're divine. That's not what I mean. I mean, actually, when are you tired and when do you actually have
right.
And to actually understand when those buckets and times are. Because if you can identify when you feel the most alert and when you don't have energy, it'll make getting things done a lot easier because you'll know when to do the hardest thing in your day when you have the most energy and when to do the easiest thing when you have the least amount of energy. You will get so much done that way.
Yeah.
If you don't understand when you have the most energy and when you're the most tired, it doesn't work without that. So if you can just kind of understand your ebbs and flow throughout your week and day, you will actually make a lot more progress toward your goals.
This is, and you know that this to be true because I talk about that all the time. Right now, after having this little one, 3 months old, I don't have much energy. That's why all of my interviews are like the podcast is super limited because after 2 hours or 3 hours of doing this, I need to go to bed. Like I'm not doing anything else. And if you are not there to support yourself, there is no business running. There is no family supporting. There is nothing. So this is actually very, very, very useful and important for you to understand that your energy is the most valuable asset that you can have as a human being. Love that, Simone. Thank you so much. Please let everybody know how they can find you on Instagram, and how they can get into your world.
Yes. So on Instagram, I am at the Simone Little. I'm also on Threads too. Slide into my DMs. I'll probably hit you back with a voice message because I prefer those over like typing. If you want to find my website, I am at www.fortheloveoflife.thesimonelittle.com. And yeah, I look forward to connecting.
Okay. But before I let you go, did you know that you have a space where your money mindset work is made extra simple so that you can increase your income, better your relationship with money, and grow your business in such a simple and easy way? Go to themoneymindset.hub.com and choose your path and start making those changes easily and effortlessly. That is themoneymindset.hub.com.